back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are here to bring you a Seattle Seahawks 7-round mock draft. This is going to be version 5.0. Alright, and we know what we're doing here. This is going out on a Friday, and I still feel like there's still so many options to explore at 18. So we are not going to do trades yet. Maybe over the weekend we will do some with trades, but at this point I'm still not going to do any with trades, right? Oh, and the other thing I would really love to mention here. So the Seattle Sports Show YouTube version, it's the podcast version hasn't changed. The YouTube version, that is on a new feed, right? I used to have that over on a different YouTube channel. I believe that was the More Mikey YouTube channel. And I moved away. I'm shifting all of my content off of that channel. So if you are listening to this on the podcast version, or you watch this on YouTube, please share it, because last year we had a lot of people watching and interacting with these, and with starting this new channel, it's not as much on YouTube as there was last year, and I'd like to have that interaction with people again this year. So if we can get the word out there that search up Seattle Sports Show on YouTube, so that more people will get back in here and find it and interact with us. You can also help that out by liking and subscribing. So if you can do that now, I'd really appreciate it, right? But let's get into this 7-round mock draft now, and let's test out a few more of these options that we could have at 18. Okay, so again, still no trades, so we're rejecting all those offers. We've done one with Colston Loveland. We did one with Tyler Booker. We did one with Gray Zabel. We did one with Kenneth Grant. So I see all those options here, and those are all still great options, but I still see other great options on the board. And again, that's the whole reason why I decided to start this series last year, just to look at the fact that there's a lot of players with similar grades, and there's so many different ways to go about it throughout the entire draft, and how we can look at how it affects the draft and what we want to do throughout the draft, depending on a player and position that we take, at different throughout the draft, right? So let's see what happens if we do this. And with this in mind, I am still thinking about making our defense like one of the elite of the elite. Right now, as it stands, I think we are a top 10 defense with what we have. Especially knowing that Mike McDonald already has 1 year under his belt. He's coming back for his second year. He's coming back for his second year as head coach. And then, he's one of these young, upcoming mastermind defensive head coaches. So continue to give him weapons that he can use and he can deploy in multiple ways. And one way that you can help make the entire defense better is by making that defensive line like truly elite. You can have a Leonard Williams, a Byron Murphy, and you can add a Derek Harmon to that mix. 6'4", 313 pounds is what we have him listed as, okay? So he's not the Kenneth Grant. He's not the... why am I blanking on the other guy's name that I want to mention? He's not the... they have him down here now, I know. Deion Walker out of Kentucky. He's not that, 330, 340 guy. 313. But here's the thing. He has a... Okay, I'm reading the first sentence here. I was going to say a great first step. So I like what PFN says in their sentence, though. Even better. The first sentence describing him. He has an explosive first step, okay? And this guy can wreak havoc on the field. And even though maybe he isn't like your true nose tackle, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, Derek Harmon, 3 versatile guys that you can rotate. You can have on the defensive line at the same time as well, and be mixing them up where they're lined up throughout, and adding a guy to that mix who had 39 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles this last year. Yeah, I think he's also a guy that can just be an X factor on his own. Allows Leonard Williams to continue to be an X factor, and maybe unlocks that potential of Byron Murphy of also becoming the X factor a lot of people thought he could be. Because again, now, who are you focusing on? Who are you double teaming? How is Mike Macdonald calling the plays on defense to just absolutely destroy the confidence of the opposing offense on knowing how these guys are going to line up, how they plan to attack a pass rush, a run rush? They just... Mike Macdonald's going to be able to deploy all those guys in so many different ways. It's going to be a nightmare for opposing offenses. So for me, I would love Derek Harmon. I would also love Kenneth Grant. If the Seahawks do stick at 18 and they pick Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant, I will be just as happy with either of those. And I'll say, okay, well, that was just the player that they preferred. I don't know all the medical testing. I don't know all the interview process that they've gone through. I'm not there for all that stuff. And so just based off of talent, and what I think both of these players could bring, whichever one they decided was the one to go with, I would say, okay, that's a great pick, with either one. And so in this one, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take Derek Harmon at 18, and let's see how this affects the rest of this draft. No way. No way. Kenneth Grant is still here at 50. That's not going to happen. For one, I just don't see that happening at all. Now, here's something very interesting. Very interesting. And this is possible. Okay? The Seahawks, there is a report out there that Siobhan Ravel is meeting with the Seahawks. He is going to be one of the 30 visits that the Seahawks are allowed to make. They are choosing to meet with Revel. Meet with Revel. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Maybe you don't know why he might fall this far. Because if you look up his career, you're going to say, this guy is so good. This guy is a first rounder. He's got, as they said here, the combination of height, length, and speed. Again, a 6'1", 194-pound guy, right? And again, we don't have those measurables, but you can watch the tape and see how he flies all over the field. Okay. Now, here's the thing. He only played in 2 games this season because of the ACL tear that he had in 2024. And that could be a reason why he falls. I know the Seahawks, yes, they are meeting with him. I don't think he's somebody that they are looking at taking in the first round and taking at pick number 18. But I could see them taking him here at 50. Okay? Here's what I'm going to say, though. I just talked about how this first pick was about making our defense elite. And getting that elite defensive line like that, that's helping out the linebackers. That's helping out the defensive backfield already. So yeah, you have time to let somebody like a Revel come in and develop with what we have in the defensive backfield already. And he's going to, at this point, he would be the beneficiary of the defensive line being so good. But I'm not going to go that way based on what I see on the board right now and other things I think that we could do and other needs that we could fill. And I see multiple offensive linemen that I would like. So at pick 50 here, I'm not going to take an offensive lineman because there's only one pick between this pick and our next pick. So even if one of the offensive linemen that I really like goes at 51, there's going to be another guy that I have the same grade on, still available at 52, and that I'm really going to like. So with the offensive side of the ball, another guy that I could get that could become an X factor for your offense is tight end Mason Taylor, right? I don't remember if we did him in one of these mock drafts or not yet. I know I've done it in a lot of the ones that I do on my own where I'm just playing around on my phone on breaks or, whenever. And I feel like maybe I even took him in like my preview mock draft. I don't remember. But anyways, what I do know for sure is Mason Taylor, he's got what you want in that tight end. He's got, again, size, speed, and length, right? 6'5", 251 pounds, really athletic. His father is Jason Taylor. He grew up around football his entire life, so he does have a high football IQ. That he knows where to get to in he's got good route running. He knows where to get to in the zones. He's a good blocker. He's kind of got everything that you would like. There's nothing that I really don't like about Mason Taylor, really. So that's where I'm going here. I'm going Mason Taylor. All right. And now we got multiple choices. Look, nothing happened at 51 that we're worried about. The Broncos took a receiver. We have multiple choices still at on our offensive line to take a look at. You got players like a Josh Connolly Jr. You got Jonah Savania. You got Tate Ratledge still. Okay, so we've talked about Tate Ratledge a lot, throughout these, even in my preview one. So another player that I would really like, and this is when you are saying, okay, we're moving you to guard and you're going to stay at guard here, is Josh Connerly Jr., tackle out of in. And he has played uh guard. You can have him play guard. He's a versatile offensive lineman. Again, I think would be a great fit for this system. 6'4", 311 pounds, and also very athletic. Again, this is a guy that you feel like could he's not like a Kelvin Banks Jr. where you go like, oh well, this guy has like all the measurables to where you feel like you're not going to move that guy to guard. You're not going to draft that guy that high and move him to guard. This is a guy that the measurables are just they just kind of meet the requirements if he were to stay at tackle. You move him to guard, and then he's looking like, oh, he's potentially one of the elite guys if he's at that position. So you could move him there, and you'd be really happy about it. And he's a Washington guy. He's a Seattle guy, a local guy. So it'd be kind of fun to have him, a guy that grew up here, being drafted, as early as second round, to come back here. So that's where I'm going to go at pick 52. We're going with Josh Connerly Jr. Alrighty, and then our next pick is going to be at 82, and let's see what is available for us. Okay, and I'm feeling like this is pretty good so far. We got defensive line, we got a really good tight end, we got our offensive line as well. Feeling like, again, I'm not feeling like 100% positive about the whole offensive line thing, but just kind of based on what we've heard out of that camp, I feel like they would feel good about how they've addressed it so far. And if that's, if I know, well, this is going to be their decision making, and that's how I would feel like, okay, well, if that's what they did to address those things, and that's what how they're prioritizing it, I would feel good about those choices. Now, so let's see what else they might do that might start filling out some other things. Okay, so to me, still, again, you want depth in your backfield. Kind of need it right now. Let's look at Lathan Ransom. Okay, again, another versatile guy that, here we go, in the second sentence that they explain about him, both excels in both coverage and run support. Okay, something that is very important in that Mike Macdonald system, and very important to be able to have him in the mix, and a guy that you can bring in, even have him. We know how Mike Macdonald likes to line up guys in different ways, so you can bring him in. You can even mix him in with Love and Kobe Bryant, and then Witherspoon and Reek on the field. Because again, Kobe Bryant, remember, he's also played corner, so you're getting a lot of guys out there who can support in the run and cover, have good football IQ, And again, this is a guy that you're not worried about him being slight of frame, right? 6 foot, 206 pounds. Yeah. That's the kind of guy that I would really like to have in a Mike McDonald system. Potentially getting a lot of playing time right away, and maybe a guy that really develops into being, you know, a big time leader and, a starter for you for years and years and years to come, being one of the top guys potentially. So let's take Ransom here at pick 82. Our next one at 92. Let's see what's going to be available to us. Okay, because I want to talk about it, I don't know if I would actually want them to do it, the Seahawks to do it and go about. But Tez Johnson, really good, right? I think he's going to be really underrated because of his size, 5'9", like they said, barely 150 pounds. But man, again, go watch this guy. He's gonna be somebody that a lot of teams are gonna be like, why did we pass on him? Based on the tape that he has out there, why did we pass? With the way, the rules have changed throughout the years, and receivers are more protected, offensive players in general are just more protected than they ever have been. Why did we pass on Tez Johnson? But even as a Seahawks fan here, I think we might still be one of those guys as well that you still go, oh, why did we pass on that? Just again, because, for me, at this point, if you can, I still really, really want to improve our quarterback room. Whether you are thinking, hey, this guy's either going to, compete right away, take over for Sam Darnold, or we just see in year one, Sam Darnold doesn't work out, so you have this guy take over in year two, or, you just say, okay, at least we have a competent guy as a backup, right? Either way. And again, for me, I'm just not going to take random people that I don't like in these as a test. I'm still only going to take guys I like. So sometimes I am going to do things that I've done before, and at this one I will go ahead and I'm going to take Tyler Shuck, right? So we know about him already, but that's who I would go with at this point in the draft, based on what was available on the board. And now at pick 137. Multiple choices here that could work out for us. Our next pick's coming at 172. Okay. So here, looking through what's available in this range, I think double check. Do we go get another guard here? Do we get Dillinger here? I think I think that'd be a good point to do it. So let's go ahead. Let's get Dillinger here, and let's see what's available for us at 172. See, and we gotta make sure it's addressed, right? I don't know why in this one Demetrius Knight Jr. has fallen. But you know, you never know what happens. I know in last year's there was guys that I thought weren't going to go until late that went early. There was guys that guys were telling me that were going to go late that went early. There was guys that there were some people who were telling me there were certain guys that were going to go like, oh, that guy's going to be a third rounder who didn't get drafted, right? So we don't really know what's going to happen. You know, this is all just guessing. Do you, again, address the depth issue that you have at the linebacker position right now? You get another Knight on your team, and you get another guy that you know, maybe Mike McDonald is going to really be able to unlock the potential out of him like we saw with Tyrese Knight. Like, again, to me, for Tyrese Knight, when they drafted Tyrese Knight, I was like, what in the world? What are they doing? Right? I was like, at this point, why are we going after this guy? And then Mike McDonald talked about the potential he saw, and we saw it realized in his rookie year. So, potential same case here with Demetrius Knight, where we could see that happen here. So I think, you know, since in this mock he fell to this point, we haven't taken a linebacker yet. If there was a linebacker that has potential like Demetrius Knight has, and the athleticism that he has to be able to cover and to diagnose the run, yeah, I think you go ahead and you'd be happy to take him here. So that's what we're gonna do. Now we're at pick 175, where no, I went after safety. I feel like no, because I already know that there's a guy later that I want to go after at a certain position. So just this. Okay, I still at this point, yeah, I have not gotten my receiver. I've already talked about him at least once, maybe twice. You know, I like Nick Nash. Nick Nash is available here at 175. I'm going to take Nick Nash. Okay, and now at 223, again, we're getting here late, right? So we might start seeing a couple of these guys that I really like start to pop up. Pop up a little bit more consistently towards the end here. Change that there. We took Connerly Jr., we took Dellinger. I still like Willie Lampkin. Let's see. There's also, I mean, Tyler Batty's still here. Look on defense, and let me see. Is my other guy still here? No. He's not. Somebody took Ransall already. Ransall. Oh yeah, Ransall went. Oh yeah, I could see. I could see Pete liking him. Okay. Well, with knowing that, let's see, because we're gonna have 234. I mean, we have 223 right now. Then we have 234. We're gonna risk it because we know we want edge depth as well. You guys, I've already talked about Tyler Batty, so you know I like Tyler Batty for the depth because of his high floor. Let's see what's available at 234. Okay, at 234. Again, you're just the guys at this point. They might not even make the team, but you bring him in, you test him out, and you see can they realize their potential at the next level, and if so, what could that look like, and how much could they help your team? And I think somebody like a Willie Lampkin could be one of those guys if, you know, despite his, you know, height and weight, you know, disparity compared to most guards at the position. You know, if this guy can realize, if he gets a chance, he might really show you that he could be a difference maker still at the next level. So those are the kind of guys you're bringing in at this point. So I'm going to take Willie Lampkin here. All right, and there we go. We have completed our mock draft 5.0, in which we decided to go with Derek Harmon. Have three, like, guys. Again, we didn't see it with Byron Murphy in his rookie year, but you get another guy that can be a true X factor and a disruptor on that defensive line. How much easier does it make it for Byron Murphy to get to that potential as well? So you get Derek Harmon. You got a lot of them across your defensive line now, and to me, that's exciting. Whether you're having all three of them on the field at once at sometimes, or you're rotating them just so there's like that constant pressure against offensive lines where, like, oh man, even though that guy went off the field, I can't take a play off because the next guy is just as relentless. You know, that's something that's very exciting. Mason Taylor, to me, at tight end at pick 50, that's really exciting because of, you know, he's got everything. He's got this. He's got the speed. He's got the height. He's got the size that, to me, is like a dream type of tight end. You know, I know Kubiak likes to use two tight ends, and he's talked about it, right? I mean, to me, in a dreamland of mine, I'd love using 3 and 4 tight ends all the time, just because there's so many tight ends like this nowadays, like a Mason Taylor, where they have size and speed, athleticism, route running ability, where you go, these guys, they are such athletes that they're such mismatches for any smaller defensive backs trying to guard them in pass plays, right? They have the size and speed where you think you want to put linebackers on them, but again, they got the size and speed that they're outrunning most linebackers. and the agility for, separating from linebackers. And then they got that size and strength, for especially in run plays. If you're gonna try to line them up, and you're putting a defensive back on somebody like a Mason Taylor, forget about it. Your run play is gonna be successful. Yeah, I just I like what Mason Taylor has to offer. So we're taking Mason Taylor at 50. At 52, you get Josh Conley Jr. Again, another offensive lineman that I really like. I really like Josh Conley Jr. I do think he's a great fit at guard. He's played mostly tackle, but again, with the measurables that he has, I think he'd fit into being one of the best guards in the draft. When we look at him that way, right? Ransom, again, just that a big-bodied safety that is still athletic and versatile, just the way Mike Macdonald likes it. Tyler Shuck, get that competent backup. Potentially, if things don't work out with Sam Darnold, he could be a competent starter for you in the near future if you needed it. Garrett Dillinger, you got a big offensive guard that can develop in your system and potentially really be good for you. Demetrius Knight Jr., same thing. Linebacker that you can really develop in your system. And, he's learning from Mike Macdonald. He's learning from Ernest Jones. And Tyrese Knight, who's already been there for a year as well. So he's got a lot of stuff set up for him to help him reach his potential. Nick Nash, again, another guy that I just really like. The high floor that he brings to the table. Same thing with Tyler Batty. High floor. Willie Lampkin, that's your guy you're bringing in at the end here and saying, let's see what this guy can bring. Because maybe other people are passing on him based on measurables. But maybe the play on the field will speak for itself and it will translate to the next level. And if it does, then you're talking about a guy that you're really going to like to have in your offensive line room. All right, so there you go. That's the results of this one. Let me know what grade you would, what is the grade that you would give to your Seattle Seahawks if this was, if this was the result. All right, leave that in the comments below and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you know when all these videos come out. And until next time, go Hawks.